Otto Kilcher isn't just a reality TV personality, he's a symbol of survival, resilience, and a way of life that most people can barely imagine. Long before Alaska, The Last Frontier became a global hit, Otto was already living a story that felt like something out of a documentary. The show didn't create his legacy, it simply revealed it to the world. And yet, despite years of fame, admiration, and respect, recent rumors have cast a shadow over his future, leaving fans wondering if they've already seen the last of this Alaskan legend. To truly understand what's happening with Otto Kilcher, you have to go back, way back, to a time before television, before fame, and before the world even knew his name. Otto was born into a family that had already endured unimaginable hardship. His parents fled Switzerland during the chaos of World War II, searching for peace and a fresh start. What they found instead was Alaska, beautiful, yes, but also brutal, unforgiving, and isolating. There were no shortcuts to survival there. No safety nets. No modern conveniences. Everything had to be built from the ground up. This is the world Otto grew up in. Imagine being a child and not knowing what a supermarket looks like, not understanding the concept of convenience, not having access to the comforts that most people take for granted. That was Otto's reality. His playground was the wilderness, and his teachers were his parents and the land itself. Every lesson he learned came with real consequences. Mistakes weren't just setbacks, they could be life-threatening. As he grew older, Otto didn't rebel against this lifestyle, he embraced it. He began taking on odd jobs, doing whatever it took to help his family survive. But it didn't take long for him to discover something he was exceptionally good at: fixing things. Broken machines, worn-out equipment, rusted tools, Otto had a natural ability to bring them back to life. What started as a necessity quickly became a passion. Over time, he became known as the guy who could fix anything, no matter how damaged it seemed. And that skill would become one of the most valuable assets on the Kilcher homestead. But Otto wasn't content with just being a mechanic. His connection to the land ran deeper than that. He turned his attention to farming and livestock, building a system that allowed his family to survive even the harshest winters. In Alaska, winter isn't just cold, it's deadly. Temperatures can drop so low that exposure for even a short time can be fatal. Food becomes scarce, resources become limited, and every decision matters. Otto understood this better than anyone. He didn't just prepare for winter, he planned for it like a strategist going into battle. Every piece of equipment he repaired, every animal he raised, every resource he collected, it all played a role in ensuring his family's survival. And when you consider that the Kilcher family spans multiple generations, the responsibility on his shoulders becomes even more staggering. Then came the opportunity that would change everything. When reality TV producers discovered the Kilcher family, they saw something that audiences had never truly experienced before: authentic survival. This wasn't staged drama or exaggerated danger. This was real life, real struggle, real risk. Otto agreed to be part of the show, not because he wanted fame, but because he believed in the message. He wanted people to understand what it really takes to live off the grid. He wanted to show that survival isn't just about strength, it's about knowledge, preparation, and respect for nature. From the very first episode of Alaska, The Last Frontier, Otto stood out. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't trying to be the star. But that's exactly what made him one. His humor, his humility, and his relentless work ethic made him instantly relatable. Whether he was cracking jokes while repairing a machine or risking his life to protect his livestock, viewers couldn't help but admire him. Over time, he became one of the most beloved figures on the show. But behind the scenes, the risks were always real. Otto's life has never been safe. In fact, danger is a constant companion in Alaska. And for someone like Otto, who refuses to back down from a challenge, that danger is multiplied. Over the years, he's been involved in numerous accidents, some minor, others terrifyingly serious. One of the most shocking incidents happened during a brutal snowfall. An ox, one of the most valuable and powerful animals on the homestead, was in danger. Leaving it out in the storm would almost certainly mean death. Otto couldn't allow that. Driven by instinct and compassion, he stepped in to save it. But nature doesn't always reward good intentions. The ox, frightened and disoriented, reacted aggressively. In a matter of seconds, the situation spiraled out of control. Otto was attacked, and the injuries he sustained were devastating. Broken ribs, punctured lungs, severe trauma. And the worst part? Help wasn't coming anytime soon. The weather conditions made it impossible for helicopters to reach him. Time was slipping away, and every second mattered. He was eventually transported by ambulance, but the delay could have been fatal. For a while, it seemed like the unthinkable might happen. Doctors later confirmed just how critical his condition had been. There were moments when survival wasn't guaranteed. Even if he did make it through, there was a real possibility that his life would never be the same again. For Otto, that was almost harder to accept than death itself. The idea of being unable to work, unable to move, unable to live the life he loved, it was unbearable. And yet, somehow, he pulled through. His recovery was slow, painful, and filled with setbacks. There were days when progress felt impossible. Days when the pain was overwhelming. But Otto isn't the kind of person who gives up. He pushed forward. Maybe too much. His family watched with concern as he tried to return to his old ways before his body was ready. They knew the risks. They knew that one wrong move could undo everything. Eventually, they had to step in, urging him to rest and take his recovery seriously. Around the same time, something unexpected and deeply frustrating began to happen. Rumors started spreading online that Otto Kilcher had died. At first, it seemed like just another piece of internet misinformation. But then it grew. More people started believing it. Even some media outlets picked up the story, giving it an air of credibility. For Otto and his family, this was incredibly difficult. Imagine recovering from near-fatal injuries while simultaneously seeing the world declare you dead. It was surreal, disturbing, and deeply upsetting. Eventually, Otto addressed the rumors himself, reassuring fans that he was alive and focusing on recovery. But the experience left a mark. And unfortunately, the challenges didn't end there. In the months that followed, Otto faced additional health issues. A hernia required surgery, which brought its own complications. Pain, limited mobility, and a long rehabilitation process became part of his daily life. On top of that, he dealt with recurring blood clot issues, something that can be extremely dangerous if not managed properly. For someone who had spent his entire life being active, capable, and independent, this was a harsh reality to face. And yet, he adapted. He may not be as physically active as he once was, but Otto hasn't stepped away from the life he built. Instead, he's taken on a different role, one that might be just as important. He's become a mentor. Spending time with his children and grandchildren, Otto now focuses on passing down his knowledge. The skills he learned through decades of experience, the instincts that kept him alive, the lessons that can't be taught in books. In many ways, this is his legacy. Fans may not see him charging through the wilderness as often, but his influence is still everywhere. Every repaired machine, every successful harvest, every smart decision made by the next generation, it all carries a piece of Otto with it. So, is Otto Kilcher leaving Alaska the last frontier? Not exactly. He may not be as present or as active as he once was, but he hasn't disappeared. The truth is more complex and more human. He's recovering. He's adapting. He's facing the reality of aging and injury while still holding on to the spirit that made him who he is. And if there's one thing we've learned about Otto Kilcher, it's that you should never count him out. Because no matter how tough things get, no matter how many times life knocks him down, he always finds a way to get back up. And this time will be no different.